Welcome back, and here we have another base build with the new 2.5 update. What can we do? Testing different things out, seeing what works. Here we actually have a really good base design. I had over 100 comments on the last video, so I've took a lot of that into consideration. We're going to try and use the pre-built land to see how that behaves around zombies now, because that seems to be untargetable apparently. This is the design I've come up with today. Consider joining the Discord and getting involved with what everyone's talking about over there. We're having some great ideas getting thrown around. The comments are so important to me as well. We've had so many ideas, so much advice. You guys are absolutely awesome. This is what we've got today. Let's get into it. Okay, so just so you can see what I'm doing stage by stage rather than just building the whole thing and saying this works, you can kind of see what's happening as we go through. So I've dug a trench that's 5 deep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely 5 deep. And then obviously 2 wide. Now, the reason I've done this, I just did a test. I won't show it because it's just a waste of time. It's easy to just tell you what happened. So my test was, well, what if I spawn in dirt and actually build the base of my base, so all of the bottom of my base out of dirt? Will they just not rage hit it? Turns out they did, and I think that's because I placed it. It was a man-made block. So that kind of verifies that. So what I'm doing this time is I've built a moat. Now this is a really interesting one because I'm going to build this section out a bit more and put some logic in. Now, one of the comments said that they did their drop from ground level. So this is ground level. This is where we're going to fight from. And because their drop is at ground level, when the zombies fall down, they don't think you're elevated because you're at ground level and it's not triggering rage hits. So I'm going to test that now because that sounds really ideal, right? So I'm just going to dig this out a bit more and see what we can come up with. I'm kind of making this up as we go. We're going to need a path for them to get out, but we're also going to need this section here wide enough for me to put in like a gap for them to fall. Let me see what I come up with. Kept it simple. I just came out an extra 2. So this is actually now 4 blocks wide. Here's the thing though. I don't want to be elevated off the ground at all. So when I'm fighting, I want to be absolutely at ground level. So I'm just going to clear this top layer off, and then I'm going to replace it with some cobblestone blocks. So I'm not stood on dirt. It feels a bit more like a base, and I'm actually stood on something, right? Nice. So there's our floor. They can actually hit from a distance of 3 now, I believe. So if they're in the bottom, 1, 2, 3, they'll be able to hit that block. But that block is not man-made. That is just earth that was already here. So we should be safe. Now we need to build some sort of logic here. So fighting position, we're going to call this. That's our fighting position. We're going to do our usual setup of how we're going to do this. So we're going to have that. So that's going to be our drop. That's what's going to send them down into our pit. This is going to be the beam that they come across. Now, I don't like how short this is, so I'm actually going to bring this out a bit more, so bear with me. Okay, so I've dug out a bit more land, as if it were, just to make this system a bit longer, you know, so they can fall off a bit easier. I do want to make all of this concrete. Well, not concrete, just whatever block you're using. In my case, I'm actually using cobblestone. There we go. So I put a little stepping point. Quite annoyingly, I broke this. I didn't mean to do that, so I'm just going to break this out a bit more because it's going to bother me that it's odd otherwise. There we go. That fixes that. Now, we do need a way out. That is the next thing we need to tackle. We probably should have done the way out like there and there, to be fair. That would have been a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. So it's made like a slope. I actually think I've done the bottom wrong. Because it's like a bump. Like, look how smooth this slope is. But the bottom one isn't. I guess if I just break that, it solves the problem, right? There you go. A smooth slope. I'm fairly certain you can just put stairs in, to be honest. Because they're not going to break these, right? They're not part of the structure. Rage hitting only breaks stuff that's part of the structure. Surely. Okay, think of it as 2 options. So I'm going to do stairs because I don't think they will attack them. Because it's not it's not a crucial part of the structure. I mean, rage hitting can hit anything, right? But in this update, I'm pretty sure it's prioritized actually doing something that helps them get to you. So I don't think they'll break this. If they do break it, there's a dirt slope underneath that they won't break. So it's a win-win, right? I'm now going to do this same system the other side because I want double the way out. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Yeah, this is looking good. Now I'm just going to bang this a little bit higher. Just because they climb up and end up getting out, which is really annoying. Okay, so we've got a scaffold ladders at the front. We've had to put a ramp at the top because they obviously climb these. And in testing before, what I've noticed is if this isn't here, or if the base isn't high enough, they climb up, then they can jump over and get in. Just in case they break this as well, I'm just going to put one more layer of cobblestone here. Because it is possible that they break this, you know, one of these ramps and then they get up, and that'll be a real issue. So we're just going to pack the front out, so there's no way they can get over the top. All this weight is on like just these front blocks, so I'm just going to reinforce this a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I think it's time to test it up real smooth. One of the comments previously said testing, obviously on Horde nights, it's dark, so it just makes for quite dark footage. So hopefully my 4 lights will solve that problem. Looking pretty bright to me. Slightly confused because we're on Horde night and we got no zombies. What's going on here? What have I done wrong? Have we built a base so good that they can't even find us? I didn't have any skill points. I was literally level 0, so I had no game stage. So presumably that was the problem. I hope. But it's not looking good. Oh, here we go. Yes, so that was the issue. Nice. God, I'm so smart. So, what happens now then? Fall down, and hopefully you'll just run away. They're not falling down as much as they should, because I'm obviously not defending. I'm just stood there. When you're knocking them, they're going to like fall over and whatnot. The point is, we're just testing to see if they attack our little dirt structure. Let's try to jump, but not attack. Okay. This seems to work. This system seems to work really well. An early game, it's probably not a problem. This is probably really good for early game. Now, there's one issue with this base design, and that's if a demo or an exploder blows up here or down there. It's going to absolutely destroy the dirt. And that's going to be a problem. But this works. This base design is fantastic. It works. There's no problem with this whatsoever. Other than the small issue I just mentioned. Okay, awesome. So, it works completely fine as it is, other than them small details I mentioned about, you know, exploders. So, if that's our only weakness, then we need to repair it, people. We need to somehow come up with a plan. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a force field down the bottom to stop them going towards the wall. So if they do blow up, they'll be like 3 blocks away from the actual wall itself. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've dug back 3 blocks, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. I've put these in here just as extra support to hold the front up. I was a bit concerned it was going to collapse. I think it's fine, but these extra blocks here attached to this just makes it fine. So the reason we come back 3 blocks was to put down this block here. So that's this block just here. Just type in this, and then it's this one. You want tile 01. You got ones without tile in the name, and ones with cap. I'm using tile 01. Reason I'm doing this, one of the members in the Discord, Arctic Fox, sent me a video on some testing with this, and it seemed to have worked pretty well. For some reason it didn't work in wood, but everything else it did, which is a bit odd, but whatever. I don't know if this is going to work, because I'm a bit concerned that this gap is too close to it. There's a chance that they could like fall on the first one, but let's just see what happens. Nice. Just doing it on day 7. We don't need to do nothing wild, because if it's too far ahead, they'll just smash through this and it'll end the test. I just need to see them fall down and whether they go over this or not. That's the test. But they do get a bit, like, see her, she's a bit stuck in a loop. Which is fine all the time, she's not breaking anything, right? They think about it, they kind of run on it a little bit and then run away. Which is fine, right? Because that's all we need. We just don't need a cop up against the dirt wall, because that is really the only issue. A demo or a cop being right up against the dirt, exploding, destroying loads of the dirt. Okay, last test. I'm going to run an actual Horde night now. I've done some small amendments. All I've done is upgrade this to cement, the beam and the fighting position, and I'm just going to run it like this. I've cemented all the way through as well, so the solid block is attached to like the main base. Okay, day 21. I've got 4 points in spear. I've gave myself a level 2 iron spear, not a steel one. I think that's about fair. Right, day 21. You probably got more than this, to be way more than this actually. I've probably really undersold myself here. But it is what it is. If it gets too much, then we'll just have to redo it. But I won't make you watch the whole thing. I'm going to skip through this quite quickly. I just want to see how much damage they do, because you can't protect the bottom, right? I can protect the front. As long as they don't get through the front, it's a success for me. But we need to see what they do to the bottom of the base after an entire Horde night is done, because that's what's important, right? So let's pound through this and see what happens. That's a little bit annoying about how high up they go. We might need to do something about that. But they go up, they hit the flick that we put on, and then they fall down. So I guess it isn't that bad. It's a little bit bad. It's a bit annoying that I can't hit them. We might need to do something about that. I'm sure that's an easy fix anyway. We can come up with a plan for that. As long as the base at the bottom doesn't get destroyed, that's all we're looking for at the minute. And they're through again. So the problem here at the moment is the scaffold ladder situation, which is fine, because it doesn't look like they can get in like this. So now I can just get headshots. So the defensive side of this will be absolutely fine when we solve a problem for this, because the climbing is the issue, right? Without the climbing, it's not really a problem to defend. Putting that there seems to have stopped them climbing for some reason. I don't know why. Have I just found how to cancel the climb on scaffold ladders? Another thing to note, I've got my blood moon count higher than the standard. So there's way more zombies for a day 21 than what actually should be. But whatever. We're base testing, so we want it as hard as it can be, right? Looks like they've damaged that block there just then, but only by 1. What are these lot doing? What's going on down here? Whoa there. So I've just realised that I've got my blood moon, like my day time, to 120 minutes, which is double the standard time. And I was doing that just for YouTube purposes, so when I'm building, I'm in the daylight longer, and I forgot to bring it back down. So 6 in-game hours is a full night, right? It's 10 PM till 4 PM. That's 6 in-game hours. So half of that would be free. So 10, 11, 12, 1. Okay. So when it's 1 AM, that I've done a full Horde night. Okay. Moment of truth. I've just changed the time to just 8 AM, so it's daylight, so we can see properly. I haven't looked yet. God mode. See, I still had an infection. I couldn't have physically got out without God mode. Oh my god. Right, okay, so there's something interesting about this. This has been attacked from this side, and this has blatantly been attacked from this side, yeah? Meaning they haven't crossed this to do the damage, which is fantastic. This is good news. That means if we had this all the way around the base, they wouldn't have touched it, right? I don't think they would have touched it. But they have touched this side. They've had a little knock up there. They had the knock up through here as well. So if I was going to do an end game version of this base, right, how I would be absolute, and I might still do this to test it, just not in this video. I would dig 5 down like I have. So we've got this big void, but I would make it like 5 times as big. So I would be 5 down, but it would be like the distance of all of, like, you know, it would be a massive crater of 5 down. I would have the base in the middle. I would have these plates all the way around the base. Then I would have these stairs. Imagine this stairs running all the way along, all the way around the square crater. And then the base would just be in the middle. That's what I would do. And then I would have my pole system just running, I don't know, would have to have it kind of near the edge in some way on one side of the base. So we can do this. Maybe I'll do another video of that. A really big one. But I think there's a lot of information learned from this. I think that they can't attack this when this is all the way around. Chuck your thoughts down in the comments. Join the Discord. Have a chat with us. Let us know what you think. I think this is a really good build, to be honest. Horde Knight 21 with a higher Blood Moon count, with a level 4 in skills on just this and only using this. That was a bit of a wild decision, I'm not gonna lie. But we done it. We still done it. So take what you will from that. Until the next one.